Okay, it's October 15th, 2019. George Webb on the diplomatic back channel here, the Potomac River. Wanted to talk a little bit about some of the great research that's happening on the internet. Lee Stranahan, of course, is a great source for this Ukrainian information. We talked to you a long time ago. That's why I collaborated with Lee about Viktor Pinchuk and Dmitry Firtash and Khodorkovsky and all those guys. And Nabu and the crime unit and so forth. And we really have been talking about that about a year now. Lee and I interviewed Roger Stone in December of last year, and Lee had sat down with me before the photo shoot and really explained all the inner workings of the Nabu crime unit. We went through the whole George Soros thing, how it was funded. It was anti-corruption was really the corruption unit, how it was a tool of the FBI, how all the takedown of Trump was done by Nabu, how Leshchenko ran Nabu, all those types of things. And I certainly collaborate anytime that somebody has a part of the story that I don't have. And recently, Amazing Polly did a pretty good video about George Soros and so forth. And everyone wants to jump to Fiona Hill saying, oh, Gateway Pundit, for instance, today saying she worked for George Soros for 6 years. Yes, she did. I'm more focused on things like Kamonic, showing you the 2006 invoices that are being shipped to Israel, the Kamonic shipments that are the weapons shipments. I'm more focused on her connections to Viktor Pinchuk or connections directly to the Orbis, Cambridge spy ring and so forth. But she did, so I did want to recognize Amazing Polly's work there, but I still think our work on Fiona Hill is much more defined. We look at for instance, her emails and her Russia working group. And we look at all the different people on the emails. We look at Andrew Wood being on the email, who runs MI6, and the different Australian folks that run Australian intelligence. Again, she's communicating with Bob Otto, who's CIA. She's communicating with Anya Blonsky, who's CIA. Again, they're key go-betweens to this Odessa crime network for weapons. They're also key go-betweens to the selling weapons to Iran, the other side, if you will, for the Kish Island weapons network. So she seems to be very in the middle of this kind of Kissinger weapons to everybody kind of strategy, and then we'll pick up the pieces as we get brought in to be the makers and creators of order with DynCorp and other kind of cutouts. Burisma is going to still be the key. Again, everyone's focusing on Hunter Biden. I did hear Jesse Waters say today, though, that Cofer Black, ex-CIA, was also on the board. It does trickle up. It just takes time. So we just need to keep focusing on the Russia working group, those interactions of all those people on the Russia working group, how it is an intelligence network, how she is a spy in the White House. And the more the American people see that this is a CIA coup, not just a coup, but a CIA coup, not just a Democratic coup, but a CIA coup, the more they'll discount this, and that's why I don't attack Joe Biden. I don't attack Hunter Biden. They got sinecures for running, interference, political interference on this. That's not really the enemy. I don't believe the enemy is the CIA. It is Cofer Black on the Burisma board. The same thing I would say for Paul Pelosi. He's on the board of Viscoil. He's on the board of NRG Partnerships. He's running. He's the front man for putting money into Libya and Syria for running weapons. Again, he's only there a brief period of time. All the investments are made behind his back. The real folks to go for are people doing the topples. It is the George Soros Kissinger crew. I hate to use the word Soros because you immediately get tagged with being conspiratorial. Do I know it's open? I've said for a long time it's the Open Society Foundation brought in the 68 girls from Ukraine. The reason why I focus on the 68 girls from Ukraine as a journalist for Andrea Chalupa and Timofeev and Mifsud and Sergei Millian as all the spy kids recruiters is because that's what actually makes progress, and that's what can help you dig. You're not looking at 50-year-old CIA documents about Operation Rusty. You're looking at current documents and current photos where emerge, and then you realize, hey, Butina is this key conduit for Russian weapons, for Rosatom and for Kalashnikov to both sides, and that's where the understanding starts coming in. You start saying, hey, wait a minute, the Maidan, the three revolutions that George Soros has engineered in Ukraine have all been disastrous, have all been to create conflict, have all been to loot the treasuries. So he's not really choosing sides either. He's arming both sides. That's the key concept, I guess. That's the big idea. It's the same idea as Kissinger. So we'll leave it right there for today. The Democratic bait tonight in Westerfield. They couldn't have got it any closer to Worthington Cylinder and our story. They couldn't have, about an hour away, hour and a half away from Piketon. It would have been nice if they would have had it in Piketon. But when you see the debate tonight, think Columbus, Ohio, think Battelle, think Lisa Page. And why is Lisa Page there? And Peter Strzok is in Chantilly communicating back and forth. It's going to be to bring in these Russians, Ukrainians, different students from Eastern European, to put them into key positions of national security and key areas of defense technology like nuclear and avionics like Dayton Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, and then put them back. Then George Soros can bring them back and put them into different countries and basically be a kingmaker for Eastern Europe and a great deal of Africa and the Middle East. So there you have it. Enjoy the debate.